Let's touch on revenue because we saw quite a big increase there, that increasing almost 28%. So on the revenue front, we've seen quite a nice increase, but we know that foreign exchange issues obviously really impact the headline earnings per share number as well, but a pretty strong period that you've experienced over the past while.
Yeah, the biggest thing in this period, obviously, we got a revenue that grew by 27.6%. Our profit from operations actually grew by 25.7%. We want to exclude a 130 million gain in the prior period in respect of a pension fund employer surplus account. So, yes, we're making very good progress in the business.
Well, let's touch on sugar production. You are talking about that to increase around 14%. We know that you are ramping up things quite extensively in all the countries in which you operate. You're really focusing on Zimbabwe, Mozambique, South Africa as well. At what capacity are you operating right now?
We're still quite a way away from what we've got as installed milling capacity. We estimate that by the end of the season we'll be producing 1.15 million tons of sugar. We've got installed milling capacity of 2 million tons. And that gap is still more than 10 billion rands worth of capital that's invested. So we continue to focus relentlessly on getting more cane to our mills. Obviously, the highlight of this period has been Mozambique. It's not very often when you can report that you'll be increasing production by 45%. And you can see it from the cash flow. So our operating cash flow in the 6 months went up by 427 million compared to the previous period.
Peter, is this a combination of a climate change that obviously then suits sugar cane production, or is it a combination of the right climate and, of course, the right efficiencies that you've put in place?
There were different reasons in the different countries why we've got such a gap between our milling capacity and what we're actually producing. In Zimbabwe, mainly you had when the macroeconomics were destroyed, we really fell back. 10 years ago, we were actually at this production level, and with the macroeconomics re-established and with us making progress with private black growers, the future looks very promising. And Mozambique is a big investment that we've done to increase sugar production, and that's why we're making large progress. And in South Africa, it's been a combination of factors, but mainly the expectation on what you earn and the revenue per ton has been going up over the years, and that is mainly driven by the Brazilians switching so much of the sugar cane to ethanol.
Peter, let's just touch on Zimbabwe for a bit. I know that you're also starting to work quite closely with communities and governments. We also know the whole indigenization process, which is ongoing. Are you leasing land at this point in time to community and obviously getting the community involved quite extensively in sugar production?
Yes, we just recently, together with Vice President Majuru, launched a very big project there. The bank ABC in Zimbabwe is actually making a funding line of between 20 and 30 million US dollars available for these farmers. There's some 870 black farmers involved. There's 16,000 hectares that they've got to farm on. So yes, it's a big project for us.
You're sitting on cash of around 1.5 billion rand. We know that we saw an improvement over the period, and debt still sitting at around 4.2 billion rand. Peter, what plans are afoot to try and bring the debt down? Are you happy with the current debt to cash scenario that is playing out?
As we're growing sugar production, you're going to see some very strong cash flows in the years to come.
Let's also touch on land conversion and development activities. We also know that you've been quite strong with regards to the Mklanga region, Zimbali, Izinga areas as well. What plans are afoot going forward? And I know you've actually let some deals go given the fact that you didn't get the value that you wanted out of selling some of the land.
Obviously, it's quite a quiet period. We call it a bit of a winter at the moment. At the same time, there are quite some hot days during the winter too. But essentially, we own some 8,600 developable hectares. We currently got 8 active land developments undergo. In those 8 active land developments, there's some 360 hectares that still has to be sold. And we expect to get more than 2.2 billion rands worth of cash from them.
Peter, is it a good time to sell actually at this point in time, given the fact that we're seeing quite a depressed scenario when it comes to the residential area, and of course that obviously ties in with the price of land as well?
Yeah, what we do is we do a very rigorous own value assessment, and we're not prepared to sell below that value. There's some markets that are getting a little bit hotter here in Durban. There's particularly a shortage of industrial land at the moment.
With regards to cogeneration, and I know that you have been talking about this for quite some time, we know that we could see inflows of around 2.2 billion rand. You haven't embarked on this as yet, but of course a lot of potential that lies ahead. Are you waiting for policy to change, the regulatory framework to change before you embark on this strategy, or do you think that you just want to go ahead regardless? of any policy changes in South Africa?
When you invest in power, you need to be absolutely certain what a regulatory framework is, and with Eskom being the dominant power supplier, you need to be absolutely clear what your power purchase agreement for a long period will be. We remain in the middle of those procurement processes.